Welcome, everyone, to the Tuesday, February 18th, 2025 Tumwater City Council. We will start with roll call.
Councilmember Liada Dahlhoff. Present. Councilmember Angela Jefferson.
Present.
Councilmember Joan Cathy.
Present.
Councilmember Eileen Swarthout.
Present.
Councilmember Michael Althauser.
Present.
Councilmember Peter Agabi.
He is excused this evening,
Councilmember Kelly Von Holtz.
Present.
Mayor Debbie Sullivan.
and I'm here. Join me in our flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, our first item is actually we are going to be going into executive session regarding pending litigation. So the council will meet in executive session to discuss pending litigation pursuant to RCW 42.30.1101I. The council will be in executive session for 10 minutes. So we will return at 7:12. And the council is expected to take further action following the executive session. So with that, we will go to the conference room. Thank you. We're waiting for the time and then I'll reconvene. Okay. We are back in session. So with that, we will move to the next agenda item, which is public comment. I do have some individuals. First, I'll see if anyone online.
We had one person register, but they are not online.
Okay. We'll come back and see if they do. The first person is Susie Williams. If you can come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes and we have a clock. So,
Hello, everyone. Thank you for allowing me a few moments of your time. My name is Susie Williams. I own Elevate Pacific Northwest Real Estate Company, and the business address is in Lakewood, Washington. And I represent Cindy Martin, who owns a property on Capitol Boulevard in Tumwater. We have a tenant that's under contract with us, and he went to apply for an updated business address for his business license, and he was denied, saying that it was not approved. However, the business that he is looking to do is a retail business, and retail is zoned for that area. So what we're looking for tonight is an explanation of why this would be denied.
we don't make comments, so you would have to schedule a meeting.
And can you share what the process is for scheduling a meeting? Because we have gone through multiple websites. We've tried asking this of Alex in the building, and we have not been able to get an answer as to the actual process.
I have your information. I can get back with you.
Thank you.
All right, next person is Cindy Martin. Again,
My name is Cindy Martin, and I ran a business out of that building on Capitol Boulevard, DC Cab, the taxi service for Tumwater. I'm just trying to cover expenses owning that property. I've had many, many different tenants in there, from a motorcycle repair shop to a dog groomer, locksmith, and getting a used car person in there was so intriguing to me, because there's Millennium Auto Detail, which they can network together. There is the car wash right across the street, which cars get dirty even sitting in a parking lot. Just ask Toyota of what should be Tumwater, but it's still Toyota of Olympia. Had many meetings with the owners of that building. Besides, their breakfast is very good. But I would like to have more locally owned businesses here in our community. The gentleman has expressed he'd like to buy the building, but I'm not ready to sell it. This is my hometown. Thank you for your time.
thank you. Ria Funk, is that correct? Did I? Okay.
And just briefly, I stand behind what Susie has mentioned. I was just brought in today to assist with this. I'm an attorney, so if it is, helps in any way to facilitate any of the process, I'll follow up with Susie on the process of getting this scheduled. Again, I just came in today, but I was here to lend a support. So thank you very much for your time. Nothing further.
Great, thank you. Did the person online? Oh, okay, great. Is anyone else in the audience wanting to do any public comment? Great, with that, we will then move to our consent calendar. Hold on, let me do this. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved. I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember Dolhoff, seconded by Councilmember Von Holtz. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All right, with that, we have approved minutes of the city council meeting from February 4th. Payment vouchers for the we have service provider agreement with ICF Jones and Stokes LLC for the Bush Prairie Habitat Conservation Plan Phase 4. First Amendment to the service provider agreement with the Housing Authority of Thurston County for Tumwater Inn, affordable senior housing. an interlocal agreement with Thurston County Basic Life Support Funding and the settlement agreement. So with that, we will move to council considerations. First item is Resolution R 2025-003, appointing a committee to support Proposition 1, the transportation geez, it has been a very long day.
And it's only Tuesday.
And it's only Tuesday, yes. So I have staff that will be doing presentation. Thank you.
Good. Good evening, Mayor Sullivan and Council. I'm Brandon Hicks, Transportation and Engineering Director for the city. This is going to be a very brief presentation from me. I don't even have a PowerPoint. I'm very limited in what I can say because there's been a resolution passed to place what I'm going to discuss on the April 22 election. So I'm even going to look at my notes a little bit more than normal just to make sure that I stay in balance. So I was here to talk about two resolutions, R 2025-003, which is a committee in support of the Transportation Benefit District Renewal. I'm going to say TBD now. And then R 2025-004, which is a resolution for a committee in opposition of the TBD renewal. However, we did not receive any letters of interest for anybody to participate in the committee in opposition. So I'm going to say pro-con now too, because it's just easier to say. So we did not receive any letters of interest to serve on the con committee. So that resolution is essentially tossed. And all we have at this point is our 2025-003. I have come to y'all many times to talk about the TBD over the last couple months. And so I don't have any more background or anything to talk about in that respect. So as I stated earlier, we do not have anybody who is going to be on the con committee. And so with that, your packets have been updated to remove that resolution. We did receive two interested parties for the pro committee, Pete Komet and Nancy Stevenson. So your packets now include their names. And then we have to submit that resolution to the county by this Friday in order to make the April 2022 election. And like I said, it's going to be very brief. That's literally it. If you have any questions, I can answer them as long as I'm allowed to. I might look at Karen, depending on the question. And then lastly, there's a really long-winded recommended action. So I don't mind reading it if you want, or if somebody makes a motion, they can read it as well.
Councilmember Jefferson?
Yes, so I'm not familiar with the process, so what's the next steps? So we can meet Friday's deadline.
So we would literally just send it to the Thurston County Auditor's Office.
Okay, so is Pete Komet and Nancy written whatever they're supposed to write? Have they debated the issue? Just walk me through how it works.
If the council adopts the resolution appointing Pete and Nancy to the committee, then we supply that information to the county, and then the county will coordinate with them. They'll coordinate with each other and anyone else that they wish to in order to write a statement in support of the proposition for the ballot, for the pamphlet. And then they'll work with the county to get that published in the pamphlet.
Understood, so that's what we're doing now.
Yes,
Got
so by Friday, we need to provide the county the copy of the resolution, putting the measure on the ballot, the pro and con committee names, and a couple, the explanatory statement, and there's a cover sheet that we fill out. So we provide all of that to the county by Friday so that we can get this in the pamphlet.
Okay, and we're good to go, ready for that?
Yes, and then if the county has the option as well, since we won't be providing names for the con committee, the county has the opportunity to try and solicit again for names for that.
Okay, excellent, thanks for the explanation.
That's what I was going to say.
Councilmember Dahlhoff?
Thank you, Mayor. So you have two names submitted by the deadline that was today at 1. What if there's a third person and they sent it in after? Would they still be included in
Not
the
on the
deadline on Friday?
They would not be included in the committee. but the committee can consult with whomever they
Right.
want.
So they won't be on the ballot initiative and the pro piece and the voter pamphlet, but they
They're-
would still be on the campaign to work.
Oh, they could be on the campaign. We don't have anything to do with
Right. They
that.
just won't be,
They could also work with the committee to prepare the statement.
right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Councilmember Althauser.
Thank you, Mayor. This might be a question for you or City Administrator Parks, I'm not sure, but typically when there is sort of a city sponsored initiative or an initiative that moves forward as a result of action by the city council, we generally do a resolution in support or against that. Or is that penciled in for a future date for council action?
It is. So I don't have the date. It looks like Karen's trying to find it, but March 18th.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions? With that, I would be willing to entertain a motion. Okay, Councilmember Swarthout.
All right, I'd like to move to adopt resolution number R 2025-003, appointing a committee to prepare arguments in support of Proposition 1, seeking renewal of 0.2% sales and use tax to be collected for 10 years to fund the TBD, Transportation Benefit District, transportation improvements to be included in the Thurston County local voters pamphlet.
And I second that motion.
Great, it's been moved by Councilman Swarthout, seconded by Councilmember Jefferson. Any discussion on the motion? Councilmember Althauser.
Thanks, Mayor. I would just remark that I think that these are two great selections for the pro committee. I'm glad that they're volunteering to offer their thoughts on the importance of this initiative. I think Pete offers a really good perspective of longevity, having worked on the first program and being able to talk about the benefits that it's provided. And I think Nancy has also been just a rock in our community in terms of talking in volunteering on the Planning Commission and having a long history of volunteering with the city. So I'm proud that they've both stepped up to volunteer in this role to prepare these arguments. Thank you.
Great. Okay, any further discussion? With that, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimous. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, and the next item is ordinance number O 2025-007, which is amending the 2025 salary schedule. And City Administrator Parks will present.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council members. And I'm going to have Lance Inman come up here shortly, our newly appointed IT director, to give you a lot of the details. I just wanted to give a brief introductory statement explaining why we are here today. Early in 2024, our directors embarked on some workforce planning in order to identify what it was the city needed in terms of resources for personnel to provide the services that were mandated and to provide by state statute, as well as to provide the many things that our community members would like from us. At the time, the city's IT staff positions were in the finance department. So as a part of that workforce planning process, there were actually two organizational charts that were developed as alternatives, one with those positions remaining in finance and one contemplating the possibility of a new standalone IT department. During the budgeting process, those IT positions, both the existing positions as well as the two new positions that were requested, essentially retained the naming conventions and the position titles and salary grades as if they were in the finance department, primarily because we hadn't yet made a decision. The council had not yet made a decision to establish a separate department. So that was actually accomplished by a separate ordinance on November 19th of 2024, creating, among other things, the IT department. So since that time and since adoption of the budget, the IT department under Lance's leadership has been working to embark upon particularly a recruitment and a hiring process for the two new positions in particular. Those are in support of both our ERP implementation program as well as the body-worn camera project. To facilitate and improve that process, Lance is requesting that we do some minor changes to the position titles and to adjust some of the salary bands at which those positions were located in. This request does not require a budget amendment in terms of the dollar amounts. It's simply a matter of calling these positions something different and moving the salary bands and where the reporting structure for those different people. So the reason we're here in front of the council is that the council establishes positions and salary ranges when you adopt the budget by a second exhibit in addition to the budget dollar amounts. And in this case, we're going to be asking for you to amend just the salary schedule. And Lance is going to explain that.
Thank you, Lisa. Good evening, Mayor, Council. All right, so Lisa covered a lot of this already. Can you click for me? There we go. We went through a workforce planning process. We started about a year ago, and we kind of, like Lisa mentioned, kind of mapped out 2 paths. And just a few constraints that we had to, we kind of had to think about where the city was going as far as our needs for both project and service management. And then we had to think about how we can support our pulling staff away from day-to-day activities for short-term and long-term projects. We also had to think about business continuity during leave and in between positions being filled. And then we also have to do 24/7 support, and that's actually kind of a tough one with a small team. So we kind of adjusted the structure of the department a bit with those in mind. And as Lisa mentioned, the department was formed in late 2024. So as part of the name change and stuff, we really wanted to affect what people would actually be doing, or better describe what people would be doing in an organization our size, and then match up with industry standards. My hope is that will help recruitment a bit if our titles are more consistent with the widespread IT industry. And then kind of catch up on some of the naming standards and conventions the city has adopted throughout the rest of the city. Some of our titles were pretty dated. And then, of course, we really needed to make sure we had support for our critical projects, which currently are the ERP project and coming up as the body-worn cameras. But there is quite a list after that. So, all right. So visually, on the left side is what IT used to look like as a team under finance, and on the right is what would like to set up going forward. One thing you'll notice is that there is missing off this completely on the left side is the ERP implementation manager, because that position actually existed in finance outside of IT. But we're going to bring it in as the IT project manager on this side. And we're taking a little different approach that rather than a flat team, starting on the right side, that staff will be kind of day-to-day operations and taking care of customer service, kind of that frontline staff. While the staff on the left will hopefully have more time to take care of those critical projects we were talking about. And only when things are beyond only when needed will service tickets get escalated to the left side. So, and the other thing we did was we defined teams within IT that will not only scale in the future, but kind of help that 24/7 coverage, and also make sure we have the right skill sets to address all the city's needs as we grow. And this is really the text, the numbers behind the diagram and the stuff we just talked about. There are a few title changes along the way, but mostly to bringing them in consistency with the rest of the department and those modern titles like we talked about. And that's really all I have.
All right, any questions?
Yes, Mayor, I have a question.
Councilmember Jefferson?
Yes, so how many members are on your team, Lance? Is it 7? I think
so-
I counted.
Right now, we have the 6 that are there right now, but we do have a vacant position due to a recent retirement.
Okay, so it hasn't been vacant very long.
No, just since December.
Okay, so we shouldn't anticipate any issues with filling that position.
I hope not.
Okay.
We all hope.
That's all I have, Mayor. Thank
And,
you.
and then also in that is a new body worn camera. That is a new position.
Yeah, correct. And the 2 new positions are going to be the system administrator 2, which is body worn camera specifically, and then a new business applications analyst 2 to support the ERP project specifically.
Any other questions? All right. Do I hear a motion?
I can make it.
Okay, Councilmember Dahlhoff.
I move to adopt ordinance number 2025-007, amending the 2025 salary schedule in support of the recently created Information Technology Department.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember Dahlhoff, seconded by Councilmember Von Holtz. Any discussion on the motion? With that, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimous. Thank you. All right, with that, we have taken care of our business for this evening. Now we have committee reports. The first committee report is Public Health and Safety. Councilmember Gabi, we will have Councilmember Dahlhoff give that report.
Thank you, Mayor. Public Health and Safety met on February 11th, which feels like a lifetime ago. It was only last week. We had 2 agenda items. One was an interlocal agreement with Thurston County for basic life support funding. In the past, we have reviewed the contract and supported the advanced life support piece, and that's their paramedic units. Last week, we talked about the basic life support, and that includes supplies and equipment and direct basic life support payment. And it's a 2-year contract with an option to extend. We also talked about the body worn cameras program, right? The first step was the budget approval, which we just did. So Deputy Chief Mason went over staffing, community engagement, about the expectations, equipment procurement, policy training, deployment, and all the inputs and outputs that go into that. So more to come and more discussion. And it was a really great meeting.
Great. Thank you. General Government Committee, Councilmember Althauser.
Thank you, Mayor. The General Government Committee met this morning, actually, in a special meeting. We had 4 items on our agenda, 2 of which were on the consent calendar this evening: the service provider agreement regarding the Bush Prairie Habitat Conservation Plan, as well as the amendment to the service provider agreement with the Housing Authority of Thurston County. The other items on our agenda, including suspending our annual comp plan amendments, we pushed the date out on that after we got approval from the state to do so. And then we also had a discussion item about our 2025 comp plan periodic update. We focused on talking about greenhouse gas reduction and the goals and strategies associated with that.
Thank you. Public Works Committee, Councilmember Swarthout.
Thank you, Mayor. On February 6th, Public Works met, and we had some information was presented to us from the Carrero engineers that have been working on a utility rate model. And so we had an opportunity to get briefed on that. And then we also received information on the Utility Assistance Program update. And so we will be meeting on Thursday. And I thank Councilmember Jefferson for chairing the meeting for me. I will be gone, but we will be meeting on this Thursday. And there's a number of items. There's an ordinance for amending the Tumwater Municipal Code for public events, service provider agreement with Fuller Designs for the Beehive Industrial Area stormwater retrofit, the 2025 pavement maintenance plan project, and a project on traffic signal controller and detection upgrade. So we'll be meeting Thursday at 8 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you. And Budget and Finance Committee will meet on February 28th, and we will be reviewing a budget report. We're going to be having a monthly budget report that we'll be reviewing at that meeting. So we will now go to the Mayor City Administrator report, and we will start with City Administrator Parks.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of things tonight. I mentioned at the last meeting that there was going to be a new road project that was going to be starting, and that did. It started today. That's at Tyee and Kingswood, so you may want to avoid that area for the next couple of months. That is a development-related project, and it is basically adding a roundabout at that, what is currently a T intersection. Secondly, I wanted to share with you that our first of 2 Tumwater Youth Showcases occurred last week at the Washington Performing Arts Center. It was Jazz Night last week. There were approximately 90 middle and high school students that performed for approximately 250 audience members. Next week, next Tuesday, is the orchestra night. And we're expecting about 150 students performing for 300 to 400 people. So I'm super excited with that partnership with the Tumwater School District. Also, would like to mention that Twin Star actually has been helpful in supporting that project. And of course, thankful to both Britt Bowman, who is our art specialist, as well as Andy Lendowski. I hope I said that properly. He is the Black Hills High School band director and also the Tumwater School District music coordinator. So those two have been working hard to put this together. It's the second year that it's been, we've sponsored this event, and I think it's been really great, a wonderful way to highlight the wonderful talent we have in our kids here in the community. And then the last thing, just a few notes about the meeting next week. So that's a joint work session with the Planning Commission. It's going to be a tour. It's basically related to transportation topics. You're going to be meeting out front here at 5 o'clock next week. The tour should go from about 5 to 7. You will be having an initial presentation from the consulting firm that's helping us with the transportation element. And then you'll be traveling around in the two Parks and Recs buses. I think there's a TV program about that. But you'll be all driving around in the vans for the Parks and Recs band vans, visiting several different transportation facilities that help identify the different key factors that our community is facing in terms of transportation issues. We do anticipate having you back here by 10 minutes to 7 to have sort of a wrap up. But we're looking forward to that trip with you next week. And if you have any questions about that, please let me know. But as is per the practice of our long-range planning department, you will be receiving information that will be very helpful in depicting the map and a lot of the issues. And so hopefully you won't have any questions, but if you do, please feel free to reach out. And that's all I have, unless there's any questions.
Great,
Thank you.
thank you. So for my report, I've actually been pretty darn busy lately. On February 5th, I was on a panel for AWC discussing with other panel members the mobile home parks solutions, some of the issues that a lot of mobile home parks are experiencing, especially in this part of the state. And I think it was a very good discussion. I believe AWC has the video for that if anybody is interested. On the 7th, I attended the JBLM Quarters 1 open house, and Quarters 1 is the general's home on base. And I always enjoy attending that. That is one way where you can interface with a lot of the command staff at JBLM and including our liaison with JBLM. And that was the first opportunity I had to get to spend a little bit more time with the new general at JBLM. I attended on the 12th, I attended the Chamber Forum, and that was a very good meeting. And they had a really good presentation on the youth workforce that is coming in and some of the challenges that businesses and government is going to have because of a lot of how they view things differently and things that we take for granted, they're not taught. Like, they talked about, one of the interesting things was someone was hired as a receptionist and took a phone note and said, someone called. And that was it, not how to get hold of them, what the topic was or anything. And so, really needing to do more training and with the assumption of what people would think, we just have to look at it through a different lens. So, and just to be able to do that. So that was a very, very informative forum. That evening, I attended, as City Administrator Parks mentioned, I was opening this, I got to speak in the opening of the Tumwater Youth Showcase. That was amazing. I spent the whole entire time there. We have such talented musicians, and jazz is always so much fun. And that one between Tumwater Middle School, Black Hills High School, and Tumwater High School, there is some amazing talent in our community. On the 15th, I attended the Black History Museum that the group is putting together that is in Lacey at the New Life Baptist Church. Dr. Jackson was here earlier to get the, to receive the proclamation. And I would encourage anyone to go. It's only on Saturday. The last time is on Saturday from 1 to 4. It's well worth the time, and it's a very large display. My future meetings, starting tomorrow, I'm attending the AWC City Action Days, which is both Wednesday and Thursday. That is the whole legislative process with AWC. So there'll be a lot of meetings going to the Capitol and all of that with things that are very pertinent to all cities. And on the 26th, I'll be attending the EDC board. So that is my report. So with that, I will start with council reports. Councilmember Kathy, do you want to start?
Sure, sure. No, I'll get it together here. I had 2 meetings plus our general government meeting this morning, and one of them was the Solid Waste Advisory Committee, which is a county committee. And I wrote my notes out really well this time for both my solid waste and my Orca, and I put them away so I'd have them tonight, and I cannot find them. Because I'm usually not that organized. So, but I cleaned up a lot of stuff looking for them. So I'm just going to say that our solid waste elected some officers for the coming year, and we also heard from a representative from the legislature. It's both encouraging and discouraging what the legislature is going to deal with in some of the areas of trash and all the solid waste things. So anyway, some of those things are important, and I will bring them back next time. And the other is the Orca Olympia Regional Clean Air Committee. And this is the time of year, again, still that we're working on clean air because a lot of people are still doing burning, and especially because of the recent cold. So we had some air, concerns over the last few weeks, but we live in a really nice place for the air to work. Our environment, it cleans itself in a lot of good ways, and we have done an excellent job. We're a 5-county organization, and we have, as all of our 5 counties, Orca's region, we are way up in the number of wood stoves that we have converted, that we have removed from homes and businesses and places, and we're quite proud of that people are taking that seriously, that we have clean air to breathe. So there was some recognition of that, in the community of our 5 counties, which I was proud of, especially of the young man who handles that program at SWAC. He's a worker, and he is an outdoorsman who wants to breathe clean air. So he's always finding ways to encourage people. So anyway, that was my report for there. Plus, we were doing a review of our executive director. So not real exciting. I don't know, maybe I could have made it more exciting if I'd have found my notes. That's my report.
Thank you, Councilmember Kathy.
Mhm.
I will start on with Councilmember Swarthout.
Well, thank you, Mayor. On January 27th, the Thurston Climate Mitigation Collaborative, the TMC Executive Committee, met on January 27th, 2025. And one of the things that we did pass was the Home Energy Score Model Ordinance. And so we haven't had an opportunity to hear about it here yet, but just wanted to pass that along, that it's one of the items that we had tasked our team to to produce for the jurisdictions. And so there's information on that I can provide. And hopefully we'll see if there's some time that we'll have an opportunity to be able to discuss this. We passed it and now it's to the local jurisdictions to pass an ordinance. Basically, the energy score is, home energy score has to do with when you go to sell your house, that you would have a rating done, talking about how energy efficient, how much it costs to run your house and all. And so that's basically what it's about. And so, but there's some things that need to get worked out, as there always are with ordinances, to make sure that it works out and is able to be implemented within the jurisdiction. So anyway, so that is what we did on January 27th. And then on February 5th, I was at the TRPC meeting, and I ended up getting myself elected as secretary.
Oh, good.
So, yay. So I am now not only the Tumwater representative, but also the secretary on that as well. And so we're doing our executive review as well. And the biggest takeaway that we had was we had a presentation from the gal that's doing the Griffith, I think of her first name right now. It's doing the per mile, doing the transportation, it's to the transportation committee, where they're looking at ways to be able to fund our road transportation. And it's the per mile, it's looking at using your odometer reading. And so so we had a presentation about that and had a chance to really have a robust discussion. So that was really interesting. And then we discussed our retreat plans, and that was about it. So that's my report.
Great, thank you. Councilmember Althauser.
Thank you, Mayor, and congratulations, Madam Secretary. It's an honor. The Regional Housing Council has not met since our last council meeting, but we are meeting a week from tomorrow, so I will have a full report at our next council meeting. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Councilmember Dolhoff.
Thank you, Mayor. I have an update regarding the Opioid Abatement Council. Some of you might remember we talked about this 2 Decembers ago, right? Because it was a year in December. You're welcome for this reminder. So some great news is the first Opioid Abatement Council meeting will be held Wednesday, March 5th, and Administrator Parks and I will be the dynamic duo representing Tumwater. So more to come on that. And I'm really excited this meeting actually happens. So excited about that. I don't need to watch the resident-owned AWC because I watched it live.
Oh.
And so it was great. Debbie Mayer got a ton of questions, and it was a really good flow. And Tumwater being the only example of having that certain zoning. So she got a ton of questions, and she did great. Thurston County 911, we met. We did the evaluation of our executive director. We also talked about moving forward in 2025, the stories that data tell, like the types of calls that come in, the coding of those calls, and how we can get information and maybe be better informed on different policies we make. So thinking applicably to public health and safety. We also had Thurston County Opioid Response Task Force, one of our goals and strategies, and that would potentially have some impact to public health and safety. So more to come with that. I also went to the Family Education Support Services Seeds of Hope Gala, where I saw some of my seatmates and Jason and Deputy Chief, which is refreshing to see someone outside of City Hall. And I wanted to bring up FES because FES is looking to pilot a senior rental assistance program. So we had talked about with senior protections in Tumwater, right? We approved the budget for another $25,000 for the first year, the second year for repairs, partnering with Rebuilding Together Thurston County. And what can we do in the interim? And so FES was opening, they already do rental assistance from other demographics in our community. So they said, yeah, we can do a senior rental assistance. So they're gonna draft that up. So that could potentially be something that Tumwater looks at down the road to see who they're serving, right? And those clients and how it overlaps with our programs that we provide assistance with. So I'm really excited about that. And then Lot Clean Water Alliance, we had elections and Commissioner Menzer will remain the president of the board and I will remain the vice president of the board. And that's it.
Thank you. Councilmember Jefferson.
Thank you, Mayor. Hopes, we met on the 13th of February, and we discussed organizing a QRP suicide prevention training. So some might be asking, so what is QRP, Angela? Here you go. QRP is questions, refer, and persuade. It's a prevention training and Suicide Prevention Program designed to teach individuals how to recognize the warning signs of a person in crisis and how to respond effectively. So, Q question is learn how to ask someone directly if they are considering suicide. 2, refer. Know how to guide them towards appropriate professional help or resources. 3, persuade. Develop skills to encourage them to accept support and intervention. This type of training is often used by educators, first responders, healthcare professionals, and community leaders to equip them with life-saving skills. It is designed to reduce the stigma around mental health issues and empower people to take action when they suspect someone may be struggling. So we're gonna have that training on April 10th. You are invited to attend. We can also set up training if it's at least 5 people, and we can bring the meeting to them and the training to them, and it's done by ESD 113 professionals. So just let me know. We also discussed briefly our coalition assessment tool. She has to dig a little bit deeper, but some of the highlights of our strengths were we do meet regularly and we have effective communications. Improvement is community awareness, and we just need to create more partnerships like we just did with FES. And starting in April, we're going to have guiding good choices classes, and we're going to discuss a marketing strategy to ensure maximum participation with that. Today, Olympia and Beyond met where we talked about our executive director search, and we want him or her to be on board around the 1st of July. Things are going well. We're getting some good, strong candidates that are applying. On the 4th of June is the Community Sports Award at SPSCC. The 4th of September is our annual meeting at Indian Summer Golf Course. And on the 4th of May, we have a Shellfish Lovers Party 10 restaurants so far, Anthony's included. The sponsor is Taylor's Shellfish Farm, and it's going to be at the Port Plaza by Anthony's, and lots of seafood. So come on down. That's all I have, Mayor. Thanks.
Great, thank you. Councilmember Von Holtz.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, it did seem like a long time since public health and safety. So I had a public health and safety meeting last week, and it was great, as Councilmember Dahlhoff shared. The next day, I had Intercity Transit Authority, where we said goodbye to Clark Gilman and hello to Robert Vanderpool from City of Olympia. We did elections, and City Council member from Lacey, Carolyn Cox, is now the chair. And we did some appointments, and I'm not secretary of anything, but I am going to be the alternate authority representative for Thurston Regional Planning Council. So that, and we meet again tomorrow because this is the days of our lives. I also attended the Fest Seeds of Hope event, and it was great. It was nice to see Deputy Chief Mason, and I went to the Boys and Girls Youth of the Year event, and that was amazing. And Ian from Tumwater Boys and Girls Club was honored, and it was just a really great event. I did not go to lead because it was canceled due to President's Day, so we will meet in April. And that's it.
Great, thank you. All right, I do not believe we have any other business this evening. So with that, we are adjourned at 7:56. Thank you.